Hi, I'm Gemma Montgomery and welcome to the Excel with Ease podcast, bringing together service-based business owners in the aesthetic, beauty, medical health and wellness sector. Here we discuss different topics that will help you grow your business with ease while supporting your ultimate life vision. Good morning, welcome to this week's episode. Oh my gosh, it's not very nice up here on the moors this morning. It is so foggy, it's a little bit windy, so I'm going to try and keep this one really brief actually, because I think you'll start to get irritated with the wind, even though when I come to do a little edit, it will help to kind of take out some of the background noise. So this week, it's all about the pitfalls of social media. And I just want to quickly talk about a recent experience that I had and how this experience hopefully will help give you some valuable insights and wisdom in how you can protect yourself and protect your business going forward. So a couple of weeks ago now, it was a Friday, I was at work. It was a really busy day, literally back to back, you know how it is as we kind of going into December in this kind of industry. And all of a sudden, the phone was ringing, the landline in the shop was constantly ringing. Some of the girls were knocking on the clinic room door saying, so-and-so's on the phone. They're trying to tell you that there's something awful that's being put out on your social media. And obviously, I was completely stuck because I was back to back. There was nothing that I could do at all. The lady that I had in there at the time, actually, she's a long-standing client. So she said, it's fine, just take a minute. You know, if you need to speak to whoever's on the landline, just speak to them. So that was okay. And it kind of came to light that my account had been hacked and what was being posted all over social media was literally just really like explicit child pornography videos, which is just absolutely awful and absolutely mortifying. But again, there was nothing I could do. So I had to carry on. And then when I did get a really small break, I went to the kitchen and I could see obviously straight away when I went onto my socials that my accounts had all been temporarily disabled. So you could appeal, but when you press appeal, there is literally nothing that you can do, nothing that you can write to Facebook, to Instagram to kind of support your appeal, which is basically that I'd been hacked and blah, blah, blah. So I clicked appeal and then literally within half an hour, they came back to me and said, due to the nature of the content, your account is permanently disabled and there's nothing that you can do. Basically, you can't reappeal. And that was it. Literally 16 years of social media content from work. And I think I've been on my personal Facebook since 2008, which this year I've tried not to go on as much, but obviously you'll know if you've got a business, you've got to have a personal account that's linked to your businesses on Facebook and on Instagram. Now, this content, I think, went out on both channels. It definitely went out on my personal channels, but it also, I think, went out on my work channels as well. So it was my work channels that were stopped, as well as my personal channels that were completely taken off. So from a personal point of view, I've literally lost all the memories from when the kids were little, videos, photos. And although I can blame social media for this, really, that's my fault. You know, I've known for a long time it's an external platform. It's a platform where you can just lose everything. Everything can be closed down. But yet we put our trust in these platforms and we put our personal memories on there, you know, of your kids and whatnot, you know, special occasions, because it's quite nice sometimes. I used to wake up and I go to my memory and it'd be, oh, this happened, you know, 5 years ago, 7 years ago. And that was the kind of thing that kind of keeps you hooked, doesn't it? And keeps you want to put things on there because it's going to be nice in the future. Your future self's going to get a reminder. But no, these platforms don't care about that. They don't care about anything sentimental. They don't care about your memories. If it's not in their best interests, obviously having something like that posted out, there's no appeal. It's just a waste of time for them. I think their stance is it's off, it's out of our hands. If you want to be on this platform so desperately, you'll just create another account. But we all know as business owners, creating content's bloody hard and it takes time to build momentum. And my, social media platforms weren't really high in numbers. It was just literally organic. I would say, I think I had something like 1,500 on Instagram. But you've got to think the clinic is just a local business. I'm not trying to reach far and wide digitally. So I would say that a lot of those people, a lot of those followers, I kind of know them. Do you know what I mean? So this was just a really harsh lesson that as businesses, we spend time on social media. I guess this is a way that we can help attract new business, but to be super careful because literally you can just lose everything overnight. So again, if you've listened to the podcast, dead simple. Do you go into fear or do you go into flow, trust, surrender? And I just thought, I'm not going into fear here. I'm just dropping into flow. This has obviously happened for a reason, and I'm just going to trust that a higher power is in charge and life's working for me and they've got my best interests at heart. Obviously, I was upset. It was quite traumatic because of the nature of what was posted out. I think there was something like 30 explicit videos, one friend said. So driving home, I was absolutely exhausted. It had been a busy day, back to back, and I just felt tired mentally, I think. So we're a little bit teary driving back, but I think it was just exhaustion. It's just been a really busy year. And I think this is one of the reasons why a higher power intervened and just thought, this has got to go. You're just running yourself too thin. Even though I have got help for social media, I think for me, it's more of the different methods of communication that just keeps you in that hypervigilant mode. I don't have notifications on my phone, but it just becomes like a habit to go in and just keep checking. Oh, Instagram. Oh, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, blah, blah, blah. And it's like a big circle that you go around, emails, text, and you just spend your days before you know it in this constant loop of check, check, check. And there were so many times I'd get messages through and I couldn't find the message again because I couldn't find where it had come through. It happened actually last night, even though I've had not my socials for 2 weeks. A lady, we needed to follow up on things. It was a third appointment that she needed. Could I find where this communication was that she'd sent me? I couldn't find it anywhere. So there were Instagram, Facebook, emails. And because I've had more time now, because I'm not on social media, I went through all my text messages yesterday and I thought, I'm just going to delete some of my text messages here. And lo and behold, there was the message. So again, a lesson learned that sometimes I think as businesses, we've got too many methods of communication and things can easily be lost. And this is me with having social media help and a little bit of admin help as well. So I do believe it happened for a reason. And will I go back on socials? I honestly don't know. At the minute, I felt an instant relief, to be honest. It was almost like, oh, God, right, okay, that's just one less thing to think about. It's one less method of communication. I felt a weird source of protection in a way, almost like, oh, nobody can get to me, nobody can see me. It's literally like taking it back to the 90s. But it's highlighted the addictions that I can carry and how social media is just another one of those addictions. So how can we protect ourselves? Well, the police have been involved in this because of the nature of the content. And I kind of knew this and I just didn't implement it on my social media channels. But just to protect your social media channels, just make sure that you have 2-factor authentication turned on. So you can download the authentication app, the Google one, literally walk yourself through it step by step, ask AI if you need to do that, and you can literally link everything that you want extra security on your 2-factor authentication. So with me anyway, the direction is changing a little bit now, especially with the training academy. So we decided actually way before this happened to make the primary focus for the training side of things and the mentoring side of things and the coaching primarily on TikTok. Now, I always thought TikTok, it's for the young ones. I think of my teenagers and things like that. But actually, it is a lot of where the people I'm trying to reach and help do hang out. So there's so many aesthetic practitioners on there, way more than I found on Instagram. So I'm hoping the things that I want to be able to help people with, the messages that I want to get out there, are going to have a far better reach on TikTok. And TikTok actually was the one channel that wasn't disrupted. So again, is this the higher power working for me, saying, right, this is where you need to focus? So I have got my authentication, 2-factor authentication on TikTok, and this is where I'm going to put my primary focus, and on the podcast and on YouTube, I think, as well. So the TikTok, we're putting videos out all the time. It's slowly growing. But for me, it's great because I'm just not into the habit of TikTok. So whilst obviously it's me that's providing the content and helping with the content, it's really my social media manager that's putting things on TikTok, that's telling me if anything's on there that I need to respond to. So the amount of space I've just had created in the space of 2 weeks is just unbelievable. I'm back on the training platform, popping a new course on there and things like that because I've just got less noise. So another way you can protect yourself, which thank God I did, is you have to get every email address of everybody that walks through the door. So if you're not on any kind of CRM system and you're still working with paper, I really encourage you to just get some CRM system going. So it doesn't have to be anything mega expensive. I think really reasonable ones start from as little as kind of £40 a month, £50 a month. And it just ensures that everybody that walks through your door, that's come to see you, or anybody that expresses an interest in your marketing, anything like that, that you can just get them on an email list and you've not lost those customers overnight. So really, again, I knew this. I've spoke about this on a previous podcast, that if you're relying on social media for your following, social media, in a way, whatever platform it is, they're owning those followers. They're not yours, not that anybody's yours, but you know what I mean? The audience isn't primarily yours. You can have that taken away overnight. So really try and get everybody's email addresses, especially that's coming through the door, so that you're not losing those people overnight. So for instance, with me, as soon as this happened, obviously I let myself digest it for a couple of days, had a little think about what we were going to do. But then I knew that I had everybody that I needed to, that had already expressed an interest via social media, that had already come to see me in clinic. I had everybody's contact details. So it was super easy for me to write an email, do a little video explaining what's happened and ensure them, there's no breach in data protection. Literally, there's no change in how they would book on. Everything's the same. The website's the same. It's just the social channels that have gone. So I can't tell you the inner peace that gave me, just knowing that I can still contact everybody that I need to. And I think it's a nice reminder that really the primary focus of your social media account is literally to get people through the door, let them get a feel for you. So in any way you can, just try and capture people's email addresses, even if it's with a nice lead magnet, something free that you can give them in exchange, popping out there on your social media channels. I'll go into that another time, but yeah, so it was just, please get some kind of CRM system if you haven't, if you're still on paper notes, so you know that you've got everybody instantly that you can email if you need to. Even if you've got email addresses on paper notes, can you imagine the task that would be involved in putting everybody's email addresses on some kind of email database? It would just be an absolute minefield. So yeah, so those two things really. Just make sure you've got your 2-factor authentication on absolutely everything. I know a lot of us have it on the things that we feel are more important, but your social media is as well. If it's something that you've grown for a long time, that's got a lot of content on there, really get that protected best you can. And as I've said, just make sure that you've got everybody on some kind of system that should the shit hit the fan, like it did with me, that you can literally just contact them straight away. And the peace of mind that gives you it's like nothing else, really. So yeah, so I think what I'm going to take away from this is I talk a lot about nervous system regulation. I talk a lot about balance. I talk a lot about how looking at the inner stuff is the way it's the way that your business grows, really. Injection techniques, yeah, I know they're important. I know We take a lot of pride in them. We want to do a really good job. But that kind of stuff isn't what grows your business. I can say that with 100% confidence. It's having a regulated nervous system. It's having space. It's prioritising self-care. It's looking at all the things that hold you back, all your limiting beliefs, all your experiences, all your fear. These are the kind of things that move you forward in life and in your business. So for me, well, this year my back had been a total nightmare. At some points I could barely walk. We dissolved the training partnership, which was really stressful. It's literally been 100 mile an hour. And slowly those negative habits had started to creep back in. And if you don't keep a check on them, they do. So it's time to, again, start practicing what I preach. And literally within 2 weeks of the social media going, my back feels amazing. It's the best it's felt since I had the injury in July. I'm sleeping well. I've got peace. It's a bit strange at times because sometimes I think, oh my God, do I feel a bit isolated? Because obviously I live up here now and I can't just... My old friends obviously are down an hour and a half away, so I can't just say, do you fancy a coffee, do you fancy a walk? But I think it will make me try and integrate where I am a little bit more. So peace, balance, you can't put a price on that, can you? And I think it was fate's way of intervening before I kind of had some kind of burnout again, especially because we've got the memberships relaunching in January as well. So again, that's a massive thing for Clinic, is membership launch. That happens in January. It happens in June. Normally, I would rely so much on social media to get the buzz out there again about memberships, but I'm going to have to now rely on good old email marketing, which is the way it should be, really. I must point out, if you do follow on socials, the Timeless Aesthetic Facebook page is still there, but I have no access to it. I can't see what's on it. I can't see messages. But in the interim, just till we do get past this membership point, the lady that does my social media, she is just sharing some content on there as well for now, just so it keeps people in the loop. But the aesthetics page, it's not a long-term plan if I can't have access to it. So enjoy your day. I'm going to, again, just take it back to the 90s, have a bit of fun with it, and just see if you drop into more ease and flow. Does money still keep increasing? Do people still keep coming through the door? And from what I can see, since the media's gone, people have found me another way. I'm still getting new bookings. My voucher promotion's just gone really well. So I'm like, actually, are we a slave to this social media belief? Is it not a force for good? I do think it is quite a dark world, social media. And it's okay saying, well, yeah, I'm going to use it for good. And I think, that's great if you really can stay on top of that and be mindful of it and only follow things that inspire you, that light you up. Really keep a check on how much time you're spending on it and how much it's interfering with your mind. But I think if we're honest with ourselves, all of us, we do find it to have some kind of addictive tendency. And I also think as well that your mind is meant to decompress. I like to think of it as like a pressure cooker. So in the old days, if you're as old as me, in your 40s, you'll remember the days pre-social media. You'd remember it's okay to be a little bit bored sometimes. It's okay to have moments where you're not looking at something, you're not constantly reading something, you're not taking information in. If you think of your mind like a computer, can you imagine if you were just constantly inputting into a computer loads of data, the computer was never getting shut down? Eventually it would overload. And I think it's the same with how we use our phones and social media. And I think it's important for the brain to have those moments of decompression, to be in nature. Even if you're just in your house and you just sat without a telly on, without looking at your phone. But this is how we get our best ideas sometimes. This is how we start to kind of process experiences and learn what we like, what we don't like. We learn more about ourselves. It makes us go a little bit more inwards instead of outwards constantly, which I think is super important. So I know I'm rambling. Again, I'm just walking, so there's no structure, there's no notes, but I'm literally just getting thoughts that are in my head out there and just hoping that there is something in there that might be valuable for you that can really help you. So I shall keep you posted on how this goes and whether this affects business or not. And I don't think it's going to do, not with regard to the clinic side of things anyway. And weirdly, actually, with the training, within 2 days of losing the accounts, I had training inquiries coming through and things like that. So again, just a nice little nudge from the universe to say, trust, have faith, drop out of fear, and know that what's meant for you is never going to pass you by. It's going to find you somehow. And I just think that's a beautiful way to live. So take care and have a lovely day. Thank you for listening to this episode. I hope you discovered some useful tips and takeaways. Don't forget to please rate, review and subscribe. And as always, pass on to a friend who you think will find this podcast super useful.